Hey, welcome back. It's Jason Walter here. So put yourself in this situation. You currently earn approximately $50,000 to $85,000 per year. You've been responsible with your money and you currently rent with the ultimate goal of buying your own house. You may have thought early on during this pandemic that the housing market was going to crash, home prices would plummet, and you would ultimately realize your dream of buying a house. But then the opposite happened, and as you know, the housing market has skyrocketed ever since May of last year. Then reality sets in. You'll never be able to afford to buy a house. In addition, home prices are going to continue to skyrocket. You also won't be able to take advantage of these record low interest rates because rates will shoot up before you're ready to buy. And you missed the opportunity to buy a house when home prices were so low years ago. If you can relate to this in any way, then you are not alone. I'm getting a lot of comments on the channel with people venting how frustrated they are with home prices skyrocketing and how they feel their dreams of home ownership are dwindling away. I wanted to share my thoughts with you regarding this, coming from a licensed real estate agent of over 8 years and from someone who spends way too much time researching the latest housing market trends. I completely understand how frustrating it can be to buy a house right now. Home buyers are feeling deflated and defeated. Regardless if you're looking to buy a house this year or in 5 years, there are certain steps that I would recommend in order to help you achieve your goal of buying a house. And before that, if you get any value out of this video whatsoever, then please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that, and leave me a comment below because it helps support the growth of my YouTube channel, and I greatly would appreciate that. And please consider subscribing as well because I post videos on a regular basis regarding the latest housing market trends so you can make a more informed decision about whether or not you should buy or sell a house right now. Thank you so much for doing that, and let's go ahead and dive right into the video. First of all, it's very important to know why the housing market has been surging, because right now the housing market feels like a feeding frenzy and it's becoming increasingly more difficult to buy a house. Right now, mortgage interest rates are near record lows of around 3% for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Low interest rates means that the cost of your housing payment would go down, which allows you to qualify for a higher loan amount. However, that works against you because when interest rates go down, that normally increases the demand for real estate, which ultimately drives up home prices. So even if rates decrease, you could end up with the same mortgage payment. For example, if you buy a house with a $250,000 loan with a 4% interest rate, your monthly mortgage payment would be $1,194. But if interest rates drop to 2.8% and that dries up demand for real estate, then you may need a $290,000 loan to buy a house. In that case, your monthly payment would be $1,192. In other words, your monthly mortgage payment would be exactly the same except for a minimal increase of property taxes. So yes, lower interest rates can help home buyers, but only if home prices don't increase. What normally happens when interest rates decrease, especially to record low levels, is that housing demand absolutely skyrockets, and that causes home prices to increase. What we also have right now is near record low housing inventory. So this pandemic changed the landscape of our real estate market entirely, with a lot of people gaining the ability to work at home and moving to more affordable areas like Sacramento, Boise, Idaho, and Austin, Texas, for example. On top of this, homeowners decided not to sell their houses. And when you combine that with record high demand from home buyers, that further decreases housing inventory, which ultimately continues to increase home prices. We also have record high home prices for building materials. So for example, lumber prices have increased almost 300% since April 2020. And that's driven up the cost to build a single family house by $36,000. And all these higher costs are being passed down to you, the home buyer. We don't know when, but at some point interest rates will increase. At some point, housing inventory will also increase as well in order to make a more balanced real estate market between home buyers and home sellers. And at some point, building material costs will go down, making it cheaper to build brand new houses. And dare I say this, but at some point we will move from a strong seller's market like we have right now into a buyer's market where buyers will regain the upper hand. Whether that happens in a few months or a few years, it's anyone's guess and it's pure speculation. It's not always going to be a crazy housing market. So if you're feeling deflated when you're hearing that home prices are reaching record highs month after month, then please realize that a little patience will go a long way and home prices will eventually come down. What happens in our real estate market is beyond our control. But if you want to be a homeowner someday, here are a few key things to do in order to increase your chances of owning a house. First of all, if you're looking to buy a house this year, then I highly recommend you hire a qualified and experienced real estate agent in your neck of the woods. This is absolutely crucial given how competitive our real estate market is right now. For those of you who follow the channel, you know that I'm a licensed agent in California, but I only serve the greater Sacramento area. So that's why I teamed up with homeandmoney.com, because they have the best agent referral program I've ever seen. After you click the link below, you enter some basic information online about what you're looking for, and within 24 hours, you are assigned your own personal concierge who will help you find a great agent in your neck of the woods. Best of all, this service is 100% free. All you do is enter some information below or go to homeandmoney.com/Jason, enter some information and get started. If you're not ready to buy right now, then here's some steps to get you there. First of all, find out how much you can afford. You contact your local bank, your credit union, or a local loan officer to find out how much you would qualify for a home loan. When you apply for a loan, they're going to ask you for some basic information such as bank statements, 2 years of your tax returns, and pay stubs. The lender will also ask you what your monthly expenses are in order to calculate your debt to income ratio, or your DTI. The general rule of thumb is that lenders want you to have a DTI of less than 40%. What this means is that your debt payments are no more than 40% of your gross income. If your DTI is higher than this, then the lender may ask you to pay down some of your debt before they approve you for a home loan. There's a common misconception out there that you need at least 20% down in order to buy a house, and under most circumstances, that's not the case. This is because there's a wide range of different home loans out there, including conventional loans with as little as 3 to 5% down. There's also an FHA loan with a 3.5% down payment requirement. There's also VA loans which have a 0% down payment requirement for our active military service members and veterans. I'll cover the two most common loan types, and that would be FHA and conventional loans in today's video. For conventional loans, you typically need a credit score of at least 620 and a DTI ratio of less than 50%. Most of the conventional loan programs require anywhere between 5 and 20% down payment. However, there are some programs that have a 3% down payment for a conventional loan. But if you put down less than 20% down, then more than likely the lender will require you to pay for private mortgage insurance, or PMI. This acts as an insurance policy for the lender in case you stop paying your mortgage payments and default on your loan. The lender typically requires that the homeowner pays for PMI when they're putting down less than 20% down. This is because there's not enough equity in the house. What this means for you as a home buyer is that PMI is an additional fee on top of your regular monthly mortgage payment. On the other hand, FHA loans have a lower down payment requirement and also a lower credit score requirement as well compared to conventional loans. The minimum down payment for FHA loans is 3.5%, but you'll need a credit score of 580 or higher. One downside of FHA loans is that because you're putting down less than 20% down, then mortgage insurance is required. In addition, because the house must meet certain health and safety standards, if you're looking for a fixer-upper in Waco, Texas,
all right, boys, let's do some demo today. Woo!
Then an FHA loan may not be your best option. In contrast, for properties that are more move-in ready and remodeled, then an FHA loan may just work just fine. However, if you're looking to buy a condo or a townhouse, then an FHA loan may not work depending on the development. This is because the lender requires a certain number of units to be owner-occupied and not rentals. So if too many of the units are rentals in the condo development, then your lender may not allow you to use an FHA loan. I will also say that in a competitive real estate market like we have right now, it can be very challenging to get an FHA loan accepted, especially for a house with deferred maintenance. So if you don't qualify for a conventional loan right now, then it may make sense to save more money, increase your DTI ratio, and increase your credit score to get to a place to get approved for a conventional loan, which ultimately increases your chances of getting an offer accepted. And speaking of credit scores, I recommend to increase your credit score if you don't already have a FICO score of 740 or higher. The lower your credit score is, the higher risk you are in the eyes of lenders. And because of this, they will charge you a higher interest rate, which ultimately increases your mortgage payment. If you already have a credit score of 740 or higher, you'll get the best rate possible. If your credit score is not that high yet, then here's some life hacks to get you there. Number 1, pay off all your credit card balances. And this is something I would recommend regardless if you're looking to buy a house or not. This is because the interest rate that credit card companies pay is very high. So if you pay off your credit card balances, this is ultimately going to save you money in finance charges. This would increase your credit score and decrease your DTI ratio, which allows you to qualify for a larger home loan. Number 2, dispute any misinformation on your credit reports. So go to annualcreditreport.com to get your free credit report to see if there's any misinformation on there. I recommend you do this at least once per year for each of the 3 credit bureaus. When I actually did this recently, I found out that someone stole my identity and was using my social security number. And if you do find any errors like I did, you should definitely dispute those with the 3 credit bureaus. And by the way, I made a separate video about all my tips and tricks to get an 800 credit score, and I'll leave a link below for that video. Another crucial step in buying a house or getting prepared to buy a house is to save money for a down payment. You can do this by saving more money or ideally making more money and saving more as well. I know it sounds so easy to say, just earn more money. Well, one way to do this is obviously to find a new job that pays a higher salary or learn a new skill set or work a part-time job in a different field. For example, if you're interested in real estate and helping people, then why not get your real estate license and work part-time? And who knows, maybe you'll find a career that you absolutely love where you make more money as well. And that's what happened with me when I moved from being a CPA to a real estate agent. Yet another way to realize your dream of being a homeowner is to house hack. And I can make a separate video about this, but here's basically how it works. For example, rather than buying a 2-bedroom house, why not buy a 3-bedroom or a 4-bedroom house and rent out your guest bedrooms? If you do this correctly, then the rental income you receive could help pay for the vast majority of your housing payment and ideally all of it. Or you could buy a duplex, live in one side and rent out the other. And keep this in mind when you're looking to buy a duplex, triplex, or fourplex because your lender can use up to 75% of your estimated rental income in order to qualify you for a mortgage. This would allow you to qualify for a higher loan amount, which also would allow you to earn some rental income and also to allow you to save some money. The downsides of buying a multifamily property, though, is that the lender often wants you to pay at least 20 to 25% down. And lastly, here's my advice for anyone who's watching who feels deflated about our housing market right now. It could get worse before it gets better. So in other words, home prices may continue to increase this year. Based on all the data that we have so far, there's no signs that the housing market is slowing down, at least not yet. However, home prices cannot increase forever. It's literally impossible for home prices to increase 20% year after year. Also, eventually interest rates will increase and housing inventory will increase as well. If you're priced out of this housing market right now, then take this time to continue to save your money and increase your credit score if you don't already have a FICO score of 740 or higher. This way, you'll get yourself in the best possible position to buy when you're ready. Also, my advice is to not wait for the next housing market crash. So 2008 comparing to now is like comparing apples to oranges. In other words, there's no guarantees that the housing market is going to crash. Instead, buy when it's right for you and focus on a house that you see yourself living in for 7 to 10 plus years. It can be very easy to get very discouraged in today's housing market, but these conditions are not normal and they're not going to last forever. If you enjoyed watching this video, then please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that. And also consider subscribing as well. I post videos about how this pandemic is affecting our housing market. You also can follow me on Instagram. I'm Sacramento Realtor. Hope you have an awesome day and look forward to seeing you on the next video.